How's it going, ladies and Bruce's up? I'll be Sixkilla and welcome back to Danganronpa V3. It is time for us to kick off the third class trial. We don't really know what we're dealing with at this stage. We got 2 murders, but we're really only working towards Angie's killer, but they might be the same killer.
Oh dear.
It would appear we've all gathered, but it seems there are less and less of us.
Oh.
Less friends mean it much harder to solve mystery.
Don't worry.
Don't worry. I'm sure you've gotten a little smarter by now, Gunter. Yeah, Gunter do his best to help. I'd want you to graduate from super idiot level to at least Kaito idiot level.
What?
What's that supposed to mean?
Are you okay?
More importantly, you okay, Kaito? Yeah, I'm feeling better now, but wow, Maki Roll sure does pack a punch.
I don't know.
It's your fault. You don't need to worry about our dwindling numbers. Only dipshits have died so far.
That being said,
I know it's a tall order, but try to use your brains this time so I don't have to use mine. These golden brain cells of mine are a gift to the entire world.
Unacceptable.
It's as though every time you open your mouth, you become less likable.
Rest in peace.
Artua, please lend us your power.
But
It may be difficult for us to rely on Artua, considering what happened to Angie, whom Artua loved most of all.
well, you know.
Then she shouldn't have relied on Artua in the first place. But seriously, it's kind of funny seeing a robot believe in God, especially Artua.
I also.
So what? Robots can believe in God?
Indeed.
Actually, before I even met Angie, I had a similar experience. Hearing voices, I mean. I think that might be a glitch. You might call it an inner voice. It tells me whatever to do whenever I'm in trouble. How long are you going to say that for? Artua and ghosts don't matter right now.
Jeez.
Yeah, the trial this time is going to be rough. We got caught in Monokuma's trap.
Huh?
His trap?
That's right.
He probably made the 4th floor so scary on purpose to prevent me from investigating.
Oh, right already.
No, we didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way.
Hey, so
Shuichi, say something.
Huh?
What should I say? I think he wants you to back him up. Let's go. Not talking to you fools, let's just get this done. It's gonna be a long enough episode already. Let's get in there and start trialing. And take your nappy off, Monokuma. I really want to see who replaces that giant stone goblet. Someone does that. That's someone's job around here. As usual, we walk toward the elevator in silence. As soon as the remaining survivors stepped aboard, here we go again. This one's going to be a rough one though, like for sure. We descended. And the investigation only took an hour, which is how long it takes for one murder, and we had 2. Perhaps because there were fewer of us, the elevator seemed to move faster. Surely that means it would go slower, because there's less of us weighing it down. And so we fell faster and faster downward into the black. Everyone settle in for an hour-long episode, by the way. I forgot to mention that. Also, I forgot to charge my controller, so that's a pain in the ass. Hang on a second. The elevator stopped, just like always. The doors parted slowly. The light that shines on us from the other side, the bright light of our future. Or is it? Boy, they look really depressed. Must be because there are even less participants now. Don't say they look depressed, you'll make Monodam sad. As much as I'd love to keep hearing this adorable back and forth, let's hurry up and get this started. At last, the class trial will begin. I hope you enjoy to your heart's content. The third class trial was about to begin. Angie Yanaga, the ultimate artist. She created the Ultimate Academy Student Council to try and prevent the killing game. And then Tenko Chabashira, the ultimate Aikido master. She hated men, but I knew that she hated this terrible killing game even more. The 2 who were killed were both trying to stop the killing. And who was the one who killed them? Was it one person? 2 different people? We need to pin that down in this class trial. In order to live, we have to find the truth. And I will fight for it. I will fight with truth and lies in this class trial. Still find it weird that we have to lie. Still never get used to that. Yes, I would like to save. Thank you very much. Here is good, I guess. Do we have any new skills? I don't know if we do. Oh, we got Spacewalk. Reduces the shock effect when an obstacle is hit. Psych Taxi's easy though, I don't need that. Power of Life and Death. Makes it easier to push the opponent back during Blade Lock. Effective during rebuttal showdowns. That's no good either. My god, why is everything falling down over here? It's so unprofessional, isn't it? God damn. Screw it, let's just go. We don't need anything else, we're fine. We can handle this.
Now then, let's begin with the basic explanation of the class trial.
Why do we need to do that every time, huh?
During the trial, you'll present your arguments for who the culprit is, and vote for who done it. Vote correctly, and only the blackened will be punished. But I'll punish everyone besides the blackened.
Sorry, we already know this.
And that person also. Refusing to vote will result in your death. So you better vote for someone. Now, smiles, everyone! It's showtime! Let's get this crazy awesome trial underway!
Sorry, everyone. I don't think I'm gonna be much help this time. Because of Monokuma's disruptions, I couldn't do a thorough investigation.
I can tell Monokuma is overcompensating to hide his self-consciousness.
Next time, spend less time fixing your hair and more time investigating, spaceman!
Shut up! I don't need to hear some comedy act from you two weirdos.
Who did it? Who killed Angie and Tenko?
Do not let your emotions hasten your judgment. There may be two killers.
So, our other culprit might not be one of us here.
Hmm? What do you
Are
mean?
you trying to scare Kaito again?
The transfer student.
No, the ritual was never done, because the book isn't burnt.
Maybe our resurrected transfer student dragged Angie and Tenko into the grave.
Stop it! Stop making stuff up!
Say something, Shuichi. It'll be a mess if this keeps going on.
Okay, we can prove that that's not true. Is it even possible for a revived corpse to be the culprit? Well, in the interest of being thorough, I should clear things up here. It can't be possible, even if you could revive it, because of the book. The Necronomicon, yeah.
This crime was committed by the recently deceased. They came back to life and killed 2 of our classmates!
No!
No!
So, ritual did work?
No,
That's wrong!
she didn't finish it.
I don't think Angie's ritual succeeded. According to the Necronomicon Monokuma showed us, you have to burn the Necronomicon in the
I'm
ritual.
going to use the ash on the effigies. After preparing the effigy, burn the Necronomicon to ashes. Use caution. Be mindful of carbon monoxide poisoning. Sprinkle the ash on the effigy and repeat the name of the deceased 3 times.
If Angie's ritual had succeeded, the book would have been gone.
So she must have been killed before the ritual was complete, since the book was still intact.
Yes.
Then, going to think Rantaro probably not culprit.
Probably not.
Oh, I guess you're right.
Well, duh. There's no way a dead person could resurrect.
Let's not talk about it anymore, Kaito.
Now hold on a second! I can't let that comment stand!
What?
Sure, everybody knows that you can't bring the dead back to life. But it's easy at the Ultimate Academy, as long as you use the Necronomicon.
You bring them back as a robot like in Danganronpa 2.
What are you talking about? There's no way that's possible.
But it's true. I never lie about motives.
Daddy said so he can't be wrong. raising the dead is totally possible.
If you say so.
Man, I can't believe you guys wasted such a perfectly good motive.
Angie wasted it. Jeez, we still got the book. We can do it later.
You should have let me use it to bring Monodum back to life.
Monodam's still alive.
Monodum is still alive, though.
I'm just kidding. I wouldn't waste a resurrection on Monodum's corpse.
You're totally gonna die this time. You know that, right?
Oh? So resurrecting the dead was actually possible this whole time?
Supposedly.
There's no way it's possible!
There's no way that could happen, idiots. Monokuma is trying to confuse us.
Idiots.
Let's hurry up and find out who the Blackened is.
Agreed.
If our transfer student isn't the culprit, then blame falls to one of us.
Who? Who did it?
Step aside, Half Pint. I'll handle this. I don't know about Tenko, but I'm pretty fucking sure Kyo murdered Angie.
He definitely seems suspicious, yeah.
What? Why?
Don't play dumb with me, Creepshow. I already know what happened.
What do we got? Light Labs, front door, back door, Kokichi's lockpicking.
The culprit used a katana
Wait.
to kill.
Samugi's account. What is Samugi's account? Angie had locked herself in the Ultimate Artist Lab since yesterday, working on the ritual. She will not unlock the door unless someone from the student council asked her to. Okay.
Angie. And it was found in Kyo's research lab.
It's true. I can't hit
Which
that.
makes you, Kyo, automatically suspicious.
But anyone could have taken that katana, you see.
But that'll be right.
So that
Kyo
rusty
can't get
katana
in.
was the murder weapon.
She wouldn't open the door for
You're the
him.
only one who cared about that thing, Kyo.
I did not care about some katana.
That's not
Just
true.
admit it, you shit-eating worm.
Ah, nice.
You went to the classroom, broke in, and murdered the fuck out of Angie.
I missed broken.
Yeah, I'm a fucking genius.
I know you think you're a fucking genius. Is Kurikiro really the culprit? Does that story fit the facts of the case? You should think about it from the beginning.
The culprit used a katana.
Yeah, no. He can't break in. The only one who can break in
But anyone could have taken that katana, you
is,
see.
So that rusty
Kokichi.
katana was the murder.
You were the only one who cared about that thing, Kyo. I did not care
About some...
katana. Just admit it, you shit-eating worm.
You went to the classroom, broke in, and murdered the fuck out of Angie.
Why am I always so bad at this aiming thing? It's so irritating. This is where all my time goes, you know? Every time.
Anyone could have taken that katana, you see. So that rusty katana was the murder weapon. You were the only one who cared about that thing, Kyo. I did not care about some katana. Just admit it, you
Shit-eating worm. You went to the classroom, broke in.
That's wrong!
She wouldn't have opened the door for him. He's not part of the student council. Except Kokichi.
No, Kyo would not have been able to enter Angie's lab.
No.
Isn't that right, Tsumugi?
Yeah. Before Angie locked herself up in her research lab, she said she wasn't going to open up for anyone but student council members.
And Kyo is not a member. She wouldn't have opened the door for him.
Kyo couldn't have killed Angie even if he wanted to.
I had no desire to kill her in the first place.
I don't know, man. You seem to like bodies and shit.
So whoever killed Angie must have been one of the student council members, yeah?
I was doing a bit to lead you to the right answer. Can't believe you actually got it.
Oh, how clever.
You can just ignore her, Gonta.
The remaining student council members are Gonta, Kibo, Tsumugi, and Himiko.
Correct.
Well, it can't be Himiko. She was besties with Angie. I trust their friendship. You guys do too, right?
Shut up, Kokichi.
Yeah, of course.
Can we trust their friendship so readily?
Obviously. Let's believe in them.
This is not like you, Kokichi. Stop it.
That trims our list of suspects down to 3. Gonta, Tsumugi, and Kibo.
None of them seem very likely.
Yep. The culprit is one of those 3 people.
You mean one of those 2 people? 'Cause a robot ain't people, Jack.
I will let that remark slide. Anyway, Aren't these accusations just a tad too hasty?
A little bit.
Whatevs. The culprit should confess already. Gonta, Keyboy, or Samugi? Well...
You wouldn't want them to confess. I thought you wanted it to be interesting. Come on.
No, not Gonta. Gonta would never kill Angie.
Yeah, I don't think he would either.
Yeah, Gonta's a gentleman. You shouldn't suspect either of us.
Hey, stick up for me too.
Gonta definitely not hurt anyone. Torture Gonta if you don't believe.
I'd rather not.
Torture might be a bit too far, but Gonta and I aren't the culprits.
And I'm not the culprit either. Jeez.
I'm
Gonta, not the culprit.
Oh, here we go. It's the panic thing. Mass panic debate.
We must consider other possibilities.
Oh god. The other
Surely
possibilities.
there must be suspects
Gentlemen,
outside the
not
student
betray
council.
student council.
And do you
utterly
have an alibi
impossible.
for last night?
Yeah, Nick, not Nick.
A dead chick
Gonta
can't
is
be
Ah,
the culprit.
Kakichi's lockpicking. He's also a...
Why?
Only
Potential.
some council members had
Too late
access.
at night.
No. You had access.
I heard it.
Asshole. Not that it's likely to be you. Be too convenient.
No, it wasn't just student council members that could have opened that lab door.
What was it you said earlier about Kyo opening the door, Shuichi? Unless you're a student council member, you can't enter Angie's lab, right?
I was referring to Kyo. He couldn't have done it, but you could have. Because I saw you open the classroom lock by picking it.
Oh yeah. Kokichi pulled out some thin needles and stuck them in the keyhole of the lock. Click, 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 clack. There, open sesame.
Oh, that happened? I totally forgot.
Sure you did.
So you're going to pretend you don't remember, huh?
Quit glaring at me like that. Of course I remember. Yeah, I did it. I killed Angie.
Uh-huh.
Wait, what? What did you just say?
Just don't pay attention to him.
I picked the lock to her lab, snuck into the room, and then wham! Killed Angie. The culprit was me, all along.
What?
What are you saying? Is this some kind of joke?
Nah, no joke. I thought that if I confessed, I could atone for my sins.
You're full of shit, Kokichi.
And it helped. I feel so much better. Whew!
Oh, well, that's good then.
Wait,
I say we let him go.
So Kokichi really is culprit?
No.
No, he's lying. I think. Maybe?
He's lying. I'm certain of it.
No, definitely not a lie. I killed Angie. Shouldn't you guys believe the culprit when they confess?
Then let me ask you, culprit. How did you lock the room?
Huh? Well, it's the same as opening it. You pick the door closed from the outside.
No, that doesn't make sense.
Huh? What doesn't make sense? Can't you lock a door by picking
Yeah,
it?
you can.
Maybe, but that's not how the culprit locked the room.
No, they used the sword or something on that sliding lock, somehow.
They used a different method.
Although the sword's still on the inside. I don't know. I don't understand.
Method.
Yet.
Yeah, Mumbles. Use your big boy voice and explain yourself.
He's my outside voice.
There were 2 doors to the classroom, and the one locked last was...
The back door.
That's it!
The shitty sliding lock door.
The back door. That's how they made this a locked room mystery.
Yep.
The back door had a sliding lock, yes? How was it locked from the outside?
The culprit used a certain tool.
The katana. That's why there's gold all over the lock. What? Oh, not this again. I hate this. Alright, whatever. Well, there's the katana. I can see the katana already. Not so good. Oh, I mean, we're nearly there. Katana.
I see it.
I'm glad it was in the middle. Didn't need to clear out as much as I did last time. That's nice.
The gold leaf katana that was stabbed into Kaede's effigy. The culprit used that to hit the knob of the sliding lock to lock the door.
So the gold leaf was on the sliding lock because...
Yes.
Because when the katana hit the lock, some of the gold leaf rubbed off on it.
It's like it did on your hands, Maki.
The gold leaf on that katana did peel rather easily.
That evidence rings a bell. Specifically, a school bell.
What?
Huh? Are you talking about a different school? What school was it?
Now, that doesn't matter anymore. Let's not dwell on the past.
Okay.
Ooh, the gold leaf landed on the sliding lock when the katana touched it.
Yes.
So that means the culprit used the katana to move the sliding lock, right?
Right.
But wait, how did they move it with the katana? And from outside Angie's lab?
The clue that might give us the answer is the layout of the area itself. It was an odd setup after all.
Yeah.
The katana stabbed into the effigy. The effigies hung upside down.
Angie didn't do that as part of the ritual?
Oh my god. That's why the katana stuck into Kaede, because Kaede was there. Maybe they turned her around to turn it into like a spiral, walked out, and then she spun around, and the hilt of the sword would have hit the lock closed. Yeah?
No. Nowhere in the Necronomicon did it say you had to hang the effigies.
That's why. They just spun it on her. Stuck into her until it twacked the lock. It must be at the same height as the lock.
If it was not part of the ritual, then it must have been for a different purpose, right?
A different purpose. What could it have been? The culprit somehow used the setup to lock the room. In that case, I need to know the reason behind every step of the setup. If I do that, the way the culprit locked the room should be clear. I think I already figured it out, dude. Psych Taxi, yay. It's one of my favorite new modes. I do like Psych Taxi. Because I get to drive a taxi. It's like Crazy Taxi, but neon 80s style. And easy. It's a very easy mode compared to the normal modes in Danganronpa. So, that's nice. Looks like they're going to add more cars though over time, so... Cool. What do we got? What? What turned the handle of the sliding lock? The sword. I mean, the hilt of the sword? I do love thinking, sometimes. The effigy's hand, the katana's hilt. The effigy's hand? Why would it be the effigy's hand? Let's go. Next question. Why is the timer not counting down? Oh, there you go. I was gonna say, geez. It's so easy even the timer isn't going. Well, I like this sort of desert scape. Very outrun-ish. Wish we could do drifties around the corner though, that'd be pretty sick. Should be a drifty button. Handbrake, you know. I do love drifties. What was done to make the katana turn the handle? It was stuck in the effigy and then wound up or whatever. Okay. And stabbed into the effigy. Good. Oh, that's a long question. So you said some of those blocks are usually 2 letters. Why are all the letters A's? You notice that? There's a lot of A's out there. A gets so much love by being the first letter of the alphabet. I don't think it's very fair. I don't think it's very fair at all. Excuse me, car. I need these. You can have that first A, but all the rest are mine. My A's. Oh, there we go. How was the effigy manipulated to make the katana affect the lock? It was spun. Or wound up. Whatever. And spinning it, yeah. If you wind it up heaps, then you can walk away and have quite a bit of time to like leave the room before everything, you know, falls into place. And if it doesn't work, you can always walk back in, spin it up again until it does work, you know?
That's it. The reason the culprit stuck the katana into the effigy was so that it would hit the sliding lock as the effigy spun.
Effigy spun?
That's right. If you spun the effigy, the rope it was hanging from would twist. Then, if you let it go, the rope would unwind and the effigy would spin the other way.
If you rounded up heaps until she was quite high, then you'd have quite a few rotations to get out.
And of course, the katana would spin with it.
I see. So the culprit used the katana's counterspin to push the lock into place?
The culprit simply needed to spin the effigy's rope and then swiftly leave. This would cause the spinning katana to hit the sliding lock.
Yep.
And thus was the back door of an empty classroom locked from the inside.
Genius.
Yes, that's how Angie's lab was locked. By using the effigy with the katana.
A plan born from the heart of a sword traveling through the air to intercept us.
Calm down.
Oh, but could it have moved the slide lock so easily?
Yeah, it was super easy.
The sliding lock was pretty loose. A little push could move it. As long as the spinning katana hit the lock, it would have slid into position.
Even if the culprit failed the first couple times, they could keep trying until it locked.
Exactly. Infinite
Which is
retries.
why the culprit chose to strike at nighttime, as to avoid detection.
Yes, since the student council prohibited anyone from walking around at nighttime.
Are you saying it's the student council's fault?
I didn't say that.
In any case, the culprit probably used the murder weapon for this trick. It had to have been the right length to hit the sliding lock from the effigy.
Yeah.
The culprit couldn't find a blade long enough in my lab, so they settled for the katana.
The other effigies were only hung up so we'd think it was some kind of ceremony.
So they all look the same.
That way, we wouldn't notice the lock trick.
But Kokichi did say earlier that he could have picked the lock closed.
It's true.
I don't want to completely ignore that possibility.
It's unlikely though, right?
But I can't imagine the culprit would have done all this just for a distraction.
If that's the case, then Kokichi's confession earlier was actually...
Shite.
Seriously? You fucking lied again?
Cough it up, Kokichi!
Oh, man. You guys got me. Okay, I'm not the culprit.
I'm sorry, Kokichi.
You're telling the truth this time, right?
Who knows?
I want to say I'm lying, but I'm not.
Why did you say you were the culprit?
I wanted to lure the culprit out. If I claimed to be the culprit, then the real culprit would agree as well. You get me? And if they pressured me to confess, then that would have looked mighty suspicious. Sheesh. Darn it. It didn't go my way because Shuichi butted in on my plan.
You and your fucking lies! Go sit in the corner and play with yourself!
Okay, I'll start right now.
All right, so who's the asshole who set up this locked room mystery?
You. I can't hold it up anymore.
What's the matter? You going soft on me now?
Who made the locked room mystery doesn't matter, since anyone could have done it. Don't you even understand something as basic as that, you filthy cum dumpster?
Whoa.
Cum dumpster! Finally! Someone finally called me a cum dumpster!
My life ambitions are
Should we
complete.
talk about now?
Not cum
We
dumpsters.
must focus not on the locked room, but on who entered Angie's lab. Only one of the student council members or Kokichi could have gained entry. Therefore, the culprit must be among their number.
That leaves us with 4 suspects. Tsumugi, Gonta, Kibo, and Kokichi.
And Himiko. We can't discount her.
Don't forget Himiko. She's also a part of the student council. Doesn't matter if she was besties with Angie, she's still a suspect.
Exactly.
That contradicts what you said earlier, which I can prove using my recording function.
It's fine. That's just a waste of time.
Me? A suspect?
Yeah.
I never kill Angie!
So, calling all suspects, what should we discuss next? I want to hear everyone's opinion. What would you say to get yourself off the suspect list?
Why are you trying to lead the debate? You're a suspect too.
It's true.
Silence, outsider. Only the suspect rangers are allowed to speak.
Suspect Rangers.
Suspect rangers?
I agree. Those under suspicion should explain themselves thoroughly.
We might catch them with their pants down!
Anyway, I want to ask the suspect rangers,
You are one of them.
what should we talk about? What should we say to get ourselves off the suspect list? Well, guys, I want to hear what you think.
That's sort of a difficult question, you know?
Well, of course it is.
Gonta not smart enough to know answer to that.
Yes, it is difficult to formulate a logical response to that question.
Not articulate with words, huh? Don't you guys want to prove your innocence?
They don't trust you one bit, and I don't blame them. You're probably plotting.
Why did Tenko have to die?
Huh?
I want to know what happened to Angie too, but can we talk about Tenko's case now and not just Angie?
I got you exactly where I wanted, Himiko.
Do you?
What do you mean?
The 2 victims could have been killed by 2 separate murderers, you know. So we need to find the first Blackened responsible for the first victim. We gotta figure out who killed Angie. Until we solve Angie's case, Tenko's case is meaningless. Did you suggest that to waste our time?
It's not meaningless!
Himiko?
Tenko's death was meaningless? How dare you!
You didn't even like Tinko. You just liked Angie all the time.
Poor Tenko! How could you do this to her? Himiko.
Himiko, stop it with your crappy lies.
Lies?
I mean, he knows a liar, right?
Everything you said is total BS. You didn't give 2 shits about Tenko when she was alive.
That's right. She didn't.
But now you're like, oh no, poor Tenko, after she's dead. Come on, really?
I'm with Kokichi on this one.
Kokichi, enough!
No. It's okay. It's no surprise he'd think that.
You treated her like crap the whole time, even though she was all over you, man.
I know I ignored Tenko before. That's why I'm so upset now. I should have faced Tenko. Worked things out with her while she was still alive. But now, it's too late. I can't complain to her or thank her. It's too late.
Yeah, seriously. It's way too late to realize that now.
Yep.
Our only option is to face her death head on.
Yeah. Face her death?
Himiko, I understand what you're going through,
Sort of.
so I'm gonna help you out. Let's work together to find the truth. I'm not gonna let anyone say her death didn't matter.
Kaito.
Here we go.
All right. I'll put a silencing curse on whoever calls Tenko's death meaningless. The name of the curse is Death Curse.
Oh no, such an imaginative name.
I
suppose being dead would silence someone pretty good.
Yeah, yeah.
Listen up! All you guys are gonna help out too. Abandoning someone who died and only thinking about your own survival. That's just as bad as a hit and run! I won't forgive something so messed up!
Tenko was our friend. Gonta wanna know why she died too.
Yeah.
I already told you that's so unnecessary. We're getting sidetracked here.
Here.
No, even if it was a different culprit, we need to know how Tenko died.
It's true.
If we don't find out who killed her, we won't be able to work together. Not now, not ever. Even if this trial isn't for her, in order for us to survive, we need to get to the bottom of Tenko's death. Not just to survive this trial, but so we can keep going and live on!
Kaito.
Finally, you noticed. Jeez, you're so slow.
Huh? Did Kokichi want us to notice?
Don't listen to his crap. We haven't decided whether there were two different culprits yet.
Let us talk about Tenko's case then. Perhaps that will provide us a clue.
Yeah. We might as well.
Yeah, maybe.
They're not wrong, but I don't mind going over Tenko's case. That was an abrupt change of topic. Was that intentional?
So, what do we talk about first?
For now, let's see if we can narrow down the list of suspects.
Tancrouch probably got killed during the seance.
Tancrouch?
So everyone there's
Tancrouch?
suspicious. Tancrouch!
The people who attended the seance. Korekiko, Shuichi, Himiko, and Kokichi. Yeah, those ones.
That's it! It was me, Kyo, Himiko, and Kokichi.
So those four are the culprits!
Not necessarily. There was a way to get in underground. Under the floor.
Himiko still culprit?
Well, that's probably just a coinkydink. The most suspicious out of the four is really...
Kyo?
Kyo. He suggested the whole seance idea.
Kyo is definitely the most suspicious.
True, I may have suggested it, but I explained the procedure beforehand, yes?
I don't even know I can change the camera now. Huh, interesting.
If we all knew of it before the murder, then we are all equally suspicious.
I see.
Well, I suppose,
But...
In addition, the seance wasn't entirely in my control either.
What do you mean?
I was not the one who selected the room we performed it in. It was Himiko.
However, there are 3 empty rooms. Which one should we use? The middle room. The middle room is always best for stuff like this. Yeah, but whoever the killer was had set it up so that it would work from any room. There was crossbeams missing from all of the rooms, I assume. We know at least 2 of them, though. Very well. I should begin the preparations at once.
Oh, right.
Which means it wouldn't have been Himiko, because then they would have only done the middle room. Because they would have known what room it was going to be. Or it was set up way earlier.
We should not limit our suspects to only those who participated in the seance.
It's true.
The empty room had a point of entry from outside, you see.
Point of entry from outside. He must be referring to...
There!
the floorboard gap.
You're talking about under the floor, right?
Huh? Under the floor?
Yes, there's a crawl space under the floor a person could move through. There was also a hole that connected it to the neighboring room.
Yep.
If the culprit used the hole, they could have entered and exited the seance room.
If we consider that possibility, then there is another suspect.
We should have checked all the empty rooms.
Another suspect? Who?
It's appearing before me. Oh, I can see it clearly. The true identity of Tenko's killer.
Well, don't keep it a secret. Come on, let us know. No? Okay, never mind.
The culprit sneaked in
What do we
during
got?
the seance.
Cage shard, loose floorboard,
Crawling under the
Kibo's
floor.
flashlight function.
That it was pitch black during the seance. How
Interesting.
could they even see if they were under the floor?
Because it wasn't dark under the floor. You see, our villain had a light.
The hole in the corner?
You mean candle?
Or is it
I
Kibo's?
mean
Can't be Kibo's light.
flashlight function.
It's too obvious.
Now, hold on a second.
Kibo could have used that function to get under the floor and sneak into the empty room during the seance.
I said, hold on a second.
Hole in the middle.
He
Oh, we
used
can
his
see what
robot
they are.
functions to commit the murders.
Hold on a second.
It's true that with a little light, you can move around under the floor. Yeah, it wouldn't take much. Just a candle would be
The
fine.
culprit sneaked in during the seance by crawling under the floor.
That it was pitch black during the seance. How could they even see if they were under the floor?
Because it wasn't dark under the floor. You see, our villain had a light.
That's wrong!
They didn't need a light.
I don't think the culprit could have used a light while under the floor.
It would have shown up
There was a hole in the corner of the room.
if they'd had the
If
lights
the
on.
light were used, it would have leaked through and we would have seen it.
Absolutely.
But when we did the seance, the room was definitely pitch black.
Yep.
So a light was not shined under the floor, which means you cannot claim I am the culprit.
Jeez, here I thought this would be the case where the murder could only be done by a robot.
You have accused me of being the culprit more than once now, simply because I am a robot.
That's true.
My status as a robot does not mean I am capable of performing superhuman feats.
I mean, it should, but yeah, it doesn't seem to, which is kind of sad.
My vision is somewhat poor, and I only possess average physical strength and intelligence.
All right, you made your point. God, now I feel sort of bad for you.
Me too. Like, what is your special ability, Kibo? Apart from being made of metal.
I neither want nor need your pity.
I guess he's hard to kill, I suppose.
Enough with the flashlight! It's way too bright!
I'm gonna kill you with my flashlight. Brightness. Ah, my
It would have
eyes.
been difficult to move around under the floor in that pitch black darkness.
Yep.
Maybe the floor and the hole have nothing to do with this case.
I don't think so.
Then why was floorboard under Tanko
Definitely to
lined
do
up
with the
funny?
case.
Going to think that was so culprit could stab Tanko from under floor.
But she was stabbed from to the neck.
Ooh, nice
I mean, it was a
observation,
sickle, so I
Gonta.
suppose they,
Are you finally getting used to the class trials?
you know.
Uh-huh. Thank you.
You're
Don't
welcome.
say it like that. You're better off not being used to this kind of stuff.
That's true.
Maybe they marked Tenko with glowing paint and looked for that.
Wait, wasn't something like that in Danganronpa 2? Like the chef one? Was it that one?
That'd let the culprit find her. Then they could stab her through the floorboards.
Boy, that sounds really familiar too. But I'm just gonna ignore it.
Yeah, it does sound familiar, doesn't it? I was thinking that as well.
Corpse didn't have any trace of glowing paint, though.
Oh, yeah. So then why was that floorboard loose?
The loose floorboard was the one under Tenko, right? If the culprit used it while she was still alive, she'd totally notice.
Who fucking cares? Fussing over that won't get us closer to the culprit!
We shouldn't dismiss this line of inquiry, however. Instead of butting our heads against this, how about we concentrate on another issue?
Okay.
What other issue?
Perhaps first, we should figure out how and when exactly Tenko was killed.
That would be handy.
When? So not during seance?
Tenko was in the metal cage for the whole seance, wasn't she?
They kept saying how it might have been when the cage was lifted, but when we first came back to the scene after turning the lights back on, you could see the blood under the sheet, but also there's two different sets of blood, isn't there? Old dry blood and new blood. Yeah, maybe.
How could someone have gotten to her there?
Maybe the culprit killed her before she went under the metal cage.
She talked.
That's not possible. She was alive at that point.
Unless your powers to communicate with the dead are really that good. At this point of this is the point of no return, Tenko. After this point, you mustn't speak. Next time you open your mouth, it will be Angie speaking through you. Understood. I'll not say a word until the seance is over. Maybe you were talking to a ghost right then.
She was unmistakably alive when the seance began.
That was right before we blew out the candles. But when the light came back...
The floorboard was removed at that point, so it's likely she was already dead then.
So she was killed when the room was dark?
But she was inside Cage, right? Going to think it impossible to kill her then.
Then she wasn't killed when the room was dark. It was a different time.
A different time?
How the fuck should I know? You figure it out, shitheads. Huh? Since Gonta said it was impossible, I'm proposing an alternate theory.
Fair enough.
Now hurry up and think!
You're not proposing a
Wanna
theory
make my
then.
golden brain tingle? Start circle jerking your limp dick brains!
We'll get right on that. Thanks. Fucking hell. Marker Stone Iron Cage, White Sheet
When
Dog
Tenko
Statue.
got killed, it wasn't during the seance.
It could not have been done at any other time. She was under the cage the whole time, and she was dead when the cage was lifted.
What about moment Cage was lifted?
Moment Cage was lifted.
Like that.
When Cage lifted, culprit stabbed Tenko real fast. So fast, no one saw.
The sheet.
Oh my!
That's impossible, because there's
So who
blood
lifted
on the
the
sheet.
cage?
And when the cage was lifted, the sheet was already gone. Which means there wouldn't have been blood on the sheet.
Then obviously Himiko is the culprit.
There's no doubt!
No.
When Tenko got killed, it
wasn't during the seance. It could not have been done at any other time. She was under the cage the whole time. And she was dead when the
Cage was lifted.
What about moment Cage was lifted?
That's wrong!
If it happened the moment the cage was lifted, the blood wouldn't be on the sheet. There's no way.
No, it wasn't possible to kill her the moment the cage was lifted. Because the inside of the white cloth had Tenko's blood on it.
Presumably it's Tenko's blood anyway.
That cloth was removed before the cage was lifted. If Tenko was stabbed then, there wouldn't be blood on the cloth.
It's true.
But how could my golden brain be wrong when it felt so right?
Your golden brain seems to get it wrong a lot, but you're very good at inventing sex-related stuff.
The only possibility is that Tenko was killed during the seance.
I got your remodel right here!
Okay. Oh, are we doing the sword thing? I hate the sword
No.
thing.
It's still wrong to think that Tenko was killed during the seance.
What?
I'm gonna prove it right now. My golden brain is gonna go all out!
Okay. I hate Rebuttal Showdown. Marker Stone, loose floorboard, iron cage, sickle under the floor.
Tenko
Got it.
died after the seance. It happened when the sheet was lifted. That was the moment the culprit chose to stab the fuck out of Tenko through the cage. They stuck the thin blade through the gaps of the cage. And that clean white sheet
It's
got
from behind.
blood red!
But
It was
the
from
weapon
behind.
was a sickle. Only the blade could have fit through the gaps.
The blade's all you need. If you stick the blade through a gap in the cage, it'd be long enough to reach Tenko. Sitting in there with her neck all exposed. She wasn't that far from the cage's gaps. In which case, the person who lifted the sheet is the culprit, and that's none other than Kyo!
Huh. There has to be a hole in Mii's logic somewhere. Okay,
The
okay.
blade's all you need.
Is it?
If you stick the blade through a gap in the cage, it'd be long enough to reach Tenko. Sitting in there with her neck all exposed.
Marker Stone?
I'll cut through your words.
I mean, she wouldn't be high enough because the Marker Stone keeps her head down.
Wait just a minute. Tenko wasn't sitting down inside the cage.
No, she was right down, squatting, head down.
She was bent over with her forehead against the marker stone. And the cage itself was about 3 feet tall. The sickle's blade was too short to reach Tenko
Yeah,
while she
definitely.
was in that position.
And it would have gone through
I messed up again?
the sheet would have a hole in
How
it
did
as
this
well. Come on.
happen? I am so embarrassed.
It's definitely done from
No
underneath.
worries, Mew. Everyone already knows you're an embarrassment to the human race.
Ah, burn.
Yeah, no worries.
Thanks, Gonto.
How embarrassing!
You seem to like being embarrassed. It's okay.
If Shuichi is right, then it's impossible for Tenko to have been killed through the cage.
Yes.
She couldn't have been killed during the seance since she was in the cage, right?
If she was killed then, the cloth over the cage would have been pierced.
Obviously.
Not during the seance or from below the floor. Then it's impossible, isn't it?
Yeah, for a living person.
Huh?
What do you mean?
What if Angie's spirit killed Tenko?
For killing her.
What are you
Revenge.
talking about? That's not possible.
We don't know that. Some things are impossible for a human, but not for a spirit.
Don't say stupid stuff like that. Screw spirits.
Please don't screw any spirits.
Stop that now.
Angie's spirit killed Tenko? Why?
Himiko?
Why would Angie's spirit kill Tenko?
Maybe Atua killed
What
Tinker.
if Tenko killed Angie, and then Angie's spirit came back for revenge?
Like I said, that's impossible. Spirits can't be culprits.
That's Monokuma, he'll say.
Then explain how the culprit killed Tenko under these impossible circumstances.
Well,
See? You can't explain, can you? Only a spirit could have done that!
wait, I know. What if the culprit was hiding inside the cage?
Tinker was in the cage.
If they were in there, they could have stabbed Tenko during the seance.
Is there room for another person?
No. If there was someone else in the cage, we would have
I
noticed.
agree with Kaito. The culprit could have been inside the cage.
Only if the culprit was Tinker. You think she killed herself? You do?
Nonsense. There was no space in the cage for the culprit to hide.
Maybe the culprit wouldn't need to hide in the first place.
What?
You're suggesting
Also,
suicide, right?
The culprit could have killed her in the cage at any time. I think you know what I'm getting at, right?
There's no way she stabbed herself in the back of the neck. The they she's referring to. She means Tinker killed herself, but there's no way. I don't believe
I
it.
believe Maki is referring to Tenko herself.
What did you say?
Are you saying Tenko is the culprit?
She committed suicide.
Suicide?
If she committed suicide, it would explain a lot of things we couldn't figure out.
And it would also explain why there was a second murder, because there'd be no need.
She volunteered to be in the cage, and then stabbed herself during the seance. It wouldn't matter how dark the room was.
But the sickle she was stabbed with was under the floor, right?
It's true.
If Tenko had stabbed herself, wouldn't the sickle still be inside the cage?
Oh my god. Mew actually said something smart.
Perhaps that explains why the floorboard was removed.
So she could throw the sickle underneath the floor.
After stabbing herself with the sickle, she threw it underneath the floor.
So she took off the floorboard to get rid of the
That would
sickle?
make sense. Yeah, that's why the floorboard was lifted. She lifted it herself.
Yes, that makes sense to Gonta.
Well, it doesn't make sense to me. There's no reason for Tenko to commit suicide.
Maybe I wasn't too far off with the theory I had earlier. You know, about Tenko killing Angie.
Yeah?
Then why we have a
Tenko
trial?
and Angie were fighting for your attention, right?
Yep. Hey Angie, when did you brainwash Himiko?
Tenko's pent-up frustration led her to commit such an atrocity. Her conscience couldn't handle it anymore, so she decided to end her own life.
Yeah, I don't think so.
What?
But if she was gonna kill herself, why do it during the seance?
She wanted to hide the truth of her suicide.
Really? Why?
There could only be one reason to hide it in a killing game, right? It's to take us down with her.
Take us down?
She wanted us to pick the wrong answer during the class trial, so she could bring us all down. She wanted us to die with her. Okay, well, she probably just wanted Himiko to die with her, but still.
What are you saying? Tenko wasn't like that.
I agree, Tenko wasn't like that.
She told me.
Keep your chin up and live life facing forward. Survive with me and everyone else.
What if all of that was just a lie?
A lie?
Wait, we should believe Tenko's last words.
Yeah.
True terror of class trials is that you shouldn't believe everything said.
Himiko, you said that Tenko would never do anything like that. But how can you be so sure? Did you guys actually know each other? People keep all sorts of secrets. Like Maki. She hid the fact that she's a cold-blooded killer. Is it wise of us to trust other people wholeheartedly in this kind of situation?
Jeez, you're such a naive dude.
I don't know about naive.
Naive?
Yeah.
We're all just people, you know? Of course we're gonna have some secrets. What matters is whether there's any malice behind them.
People can lie about how malicious their hidden secrets really are.
Well, duh. It's impossible to know for sure what others are thinking. That's why it all comes down to whether or not you believe in yourself. If you get betrayed, it's not their fault. It's your fault for believing in them. That's why I believed in Maki Roll, because I wanted to believe in her.
Just because you're acting all cool doesn't mean you get to skip training.
Yeah, we're doing training tonight.
Hey,
as long as we all
come
survive,
on.
that is.
Don't you think you're being a little too strict?
Well, we come from different backgrounds. So for now, let's agree to disagree. No one's ever called me naive before. And from Kaito? Seriously?
Yeah, that's true. It's very strange.
Whether or not I believe.
Kaito's super naive.
My heart can't reach Tenko anymore. But I want to believe in her. She wouldn't commit suicide. She wouldn't try to take us down. That's what I want to believe.
Me too. Gonta, no can believe Tenko commits suicide.
I find it hard to believe myself.
But if Tenko did commit suicide, that would answer all of our questions.
Definitely would.
If you insist we believe in Tenko, then provide a reason to do so.
A proper reason.
All right, I'll give you a reason.
Will you?
Is there a reason?
Yes, there is. Will you trust me, Maki? If it turns out I'm wrong, you can blame me all you like. But for now, I need you to trust in my detective work.
I don't believe Tenko would kill herself because of what she said. Okay, everyone. I'll see you guys after the seance. That's fair. She said see you guys after. I doubt she had a sudden change of heart. Just because we don't know how she was killed doesn't mean that it was suicide. We shouldn't be satisfied with that, and if we keep thinking, we'll find the truth. And that means we have to believe in Tenko. I'll make them all believe. Are we gonna lie again? Please don't lie again. Tenko's last moments.
So far, suicide seems to be the best explanation.
Her plan was to take us down with her.
No.
So she hid her true intentions.
Tenko's not that kind of person!
But if Tenko did commit suicide, it would explain how she died during the seance.
Sure.
She could have secretly brought the sickle and then stabbed herself with it.
Finally, with the last of her strength.
No? She would have been able to throw it away in time. No? That is, I suppose, unless her death was instant.
So far, suicide seems to be the best explanation.
Her plan was to take us down with her. So she hid her true intentions.
Tenko's not that kind of person!
But if Tenko did commit suicide, it explains how she died during the seance.
She could have secretly brought the sickle
Sure.
and then stabbed herself with it.
Finally, with the last of her strength.
I'll reveal the truth.
Tenko died instantly.
Tenko couldn't have thrown the sickle under the floor. Because she died instantly.
Probably.
Instantly?
Yeah, death might not have been instant, but she couldn't have gone far before she bled out.
I'm certain of it. My investigation determined that she died instantly.
What's your opinion, Maki? I'd like to hear from someone who specializes in murder.
Murder? I don't like lying.
Maki.
You're right. I completely forgot about that important detail. Tenko died instantly.
What?
As an assassin, I specialize in killing my targets swiftly. I have no doubt that Tenko was killed immediately.
Words of a true killer. Pretty sure we can believe everything she said.
Thank you, Maki.
How could you forget that, Maki Roll? You better apologize to Shuichi.
Yikes.
Excuse me?
Oh shit.
It's okay, Kaito, really. No apology necessary. Anyway, Tenko died so suddenly that she couldn't have gotten rid of the sickle. Knowing that, the theory that she killed herself just doesn't fit, correct?
Just like I thought. Tenko wouldn't commit suicide.
Thank goodness, Himiko.
Which means someone definitely killed Tenko during the seance.
Sure.
Her suicide was considered because we could not determine how she was killed.
No! There must have been a way! We're gonna figure it out!
Let's
Did
do
any
that.
of the participants witness anything peculiar during the seance?
Just the noise.
If you know something, please speak up. It could be the key to solving this mystery.
Not a bad idea. We should remember what happened at the sounds. Let me try to remember. I'm sure there's something. The sound. I need some kind of clue that'll help me solve this mystery. Although the sound could have been her throwing the sickle away after she killed herself. Just saying. Sound during seance. There you go.
Did anything seem out of the ordinary
Or the
during
crossface.
seance?
Yeah, the
There
sound.
is something that bothers me. The fact that the seance failed. The
Yeah,
ritual
yeah.
was perfect, and yet it failed. How utterly strange.
Now that I think about it, while we were all singing the song,
Yes.
I heard something fall.
Yes.
I think.
No, no, no.
I'm more
Fuck.
concerned.
It's that one. Son of a bitch. We gotta use the focus thing more in this one. Because that makes it a lot easier, the focus thing. And I never use it when I should.
I heard something.
Agree.
I agree.
I also agree.
Himiko, you think that something fell because of that sound you heard, right?
God damn, that's loud. That's such a loud noise. Like, I don't know. I thought it was like the dog going through the fucking cage and
Like
crushing her or something.
heavy fell down and hit the floor really hard.
Yeah.
What could have fallen down?
Fallen down? There wasn't anything on the ceiling that could have fallen down, right?
Am I wrong? I thought something fell, but
It sounded like it.
The sound
Jesus.
was pretty loud. It did seem like something hit the floorboards.
Loud sound, like something hit the floorboards. Maybe that sound had something to do with the other thing that happened in the dark. The other thing that happened in the dark? What? Yikes. Show question. What caused the sound that was heard during the seance? The floorboard? I mean, that's very loud for the floorboard, but the floorboard was under her. It was moved during the seance.
This is it!
Sounds like it would be too quiet for that, but sure.
I think the floorboard coming off had something to do with that sound.
Something to do with it, sure. It's definitely not all of it, though.
Came loose at some point during the seance, right?
Yeah.
could the floorboard have made such
Oh, wrong button. Sorry.
a loud loud sound, though?
It was the sound of an intense impact.
Oops. That's true. It would have made a strong impact. Been a strong impact to make that sound. But what was it? What could it possibly be?
Alright then, let's go with that. We all gotta put our heads together now.
Okay. Sorry, I had it on auto by accident. The cross
So
piece?
what made the floorboard come loose?
The cross piece.
Judging from the sound, there must
That
have
was
been
cut out.
considerable force.
Someone who participated in the seance. Maybe that person tore off the floorboard.
That wouldn't make such a loud crashing sound.
No.
Maybe the wooden statue fell over.
It didn't though. It sounded like it did.
That statue was still on top of the cage.
Yep.
Culprit hide under floor.
Yep. Probably.
Then stood up with such might.
You break
We
your
already
head.
said there was no one under the floor.
Someone must have stomped through the floorboard.
No. I mean,
I agree.
that's why the thing was loose. Oh, that's why they cut away the cross piece to stomp through the floorboard so there'd be nothing in the way of it. But it wasn't
Kokichi is
cracked.
right. The floorboard came loose because someone stomped on it.
I don't know.
But floorboards fit perfect. Going to make sure first time we go to empty room.
When we first saw the room, yes. But when I looked again during the investigation, one of the cross pieces supporting the floorboards was cut off.
Oh, it was like one end was stomped on and the other end flicked up. Like a lever, right?
After examining the cut, I concluded that it must have been done deliberately.
How would that work though? How would that cause the stabbing?
Someone? You mean the culprit, right? Why'd they do that?
What did the culprit stand to gain by
If
cutting
that's
the
the
cross
case,
piece?
and if the floorboard goes further than the cage, then one of the people in the room could have stomped on the floorboard and flicked up the other end. And somehow caused the sickle to kill her like that. I don't know. What did they stand to gain? That's the question. That is the question. To solve this case, I need to think carefully about the cross piece and the floorboard. Maybe it was already in the cage. They stomped on this end. Tenko's body flicked up into the cage. Tenko's body was at one end of the loose floorboard. And the cross piece that had been cut was on the other end of the floorboard. The unsupported part was outside the cage, so it could have been stomped on. Only one of the cross pieces was cut, the other two were intact. One of them was right under Tenko. And the other was in the center, right about where the edge of the cage was. What was the culprit attempting to achieve by stomping on the floorboard? Smashing her head against the cage, I guess. Think, come on, think. But how the sickle then? Was the sickle not even the murder weapon then? I don't know. Should we just pick some letters? Yes. Seesaw? Seesaw. Ass? Seesaw. Something. Oh, I need focus. Come on. Seesaw effect. I'm not very good at anagrams, man. And by not very good, I mean absolutely terrible.
I see now. That's right. The floorboard might have been used as a seesaw.
Yeah? A seesaw?
I would have said
Cross
lever,
piece
but
at one
sure,
end of
whatever.
The floorboard had been cut off. the other 2 cross pieces holding up that board were close to the cage.
Stomp on that bastard.
Meaning, if you were to apply force to the end of the floorboard with no crosspiece, the next crosspiece would act as a fulcrum to turn the floorboard into a lever.
Which means if the sickle really was the better weapon, then it was already inside the cage. It was hooked into the cage somehow, or under the sheet maybe? Sticking through the thing under the sheet? And then Himiko could have been the one to do it. When she pulled the thing off, she got rid of the sickle at the same time.
A lever
Something like that.
capable of lifting up Tenko's entire body.
Sounds like Himiko to me. If that's the case. Although she wouldn't be heavy enough to... She wouldn't be heavy enough to lift Tenko's entire body. She's smaller than Tenko. By quite a lot.
Yeah, that sounds like a seesaw, alright. But why bother lifting Tenko's body?
They couldn't have killed Tenko like that. Unless they used the sickle.
That's exactly it. Using the seesaw trick, it was possible to kill Tenko with a sickle.
It must be Kiyo. It had to be. There's only 2 people it could be. And it had to be Kiyo. Because he would have taken the sheet off. He took the sheet off. And when he took the sheet off, he would have taken the sickle off at the same time. Right? And he would have been heavy enough to lift Tenko, I think. He's quite tall.
How?
In order for the culprit to kill Tenko with a seesaw trick,
Does sound like Kiyo to me.
the placement of the sickle is the most important factor.
It means it has to be Himiko or Kiyo, and Himiko's too little. The floorboard seesaw, the cage, and the blood on the white fabric. What conclusions can I draw from this? There's only one place the sickle could have been. This is consistent with the evidence. On top of the cage.
That's it!
Under the sheet, on top of the
sickle
cage.
was at the top of the iron cage, with the blade facing down. The reason we didn't see it was because of the fabric covering the cage. Also, the wooden statue kept the blade in place.
It had to be Kiyo.
It's true that the sickle's handle was thick, which made the statue wobble.
Because he's the one who took the sheet away.
But the statue's weight kept it from falling over. Once everything was in place, if you stepped hard enough on the seesaw,
She would die.
Tenko's body would have shot upward and hit the blade on the top of the cage. She was bent over, meaning the sickle's blade would have connected with her neck.
The 6-inch sickle blade wasn't long enough to stab Tenko in her crouch position, but with the floorboard acting as a seesaw, it could compensate for the blade's length.
It's also exactly why the stone was put in that particular spot. To make sure she was in the right spot for the killing to work.
Bringing the victim to the sickle rather than bringing the sickle to the victim. That's definitely an unorthodox idea.
It's crazy, but it would explain how Tenko got stabbed while she was in the cage.
So the sound we heard was the culprit stomping on the floorboard.
No wonder it was so loud.
That impact make floorboard come loose.
Looks like we got ourselves a good old-fashioned seesaw homicide.
Is that normal, is it?
Wait, what the hell's a seesaw homicide? That's fucking crazy!
The craziness is what really makes the killing game fun, you know? They can't get away with murder the normal way, so they gotta think outside the box. Kudos, culprit! You did a great job keeping me entertained.
But that makes it obvious who did it.
Indeed. Well played, Himiko.
No, it's definitely not Himiko.
Yeah?
It was you, wasn't it? The one behind the seesaw homicide.
Huh? Why her?
Because
Why
she's
her?
the only one capable of carrying out this plan.
The only one? Why's that?
Not the only one.
Because this seesaw homicide required its location to be prepared beforehand.
By cutting the crosspiece beneath the floorboard, you mean?
Then the culprit would need to lure their victim into the prepared room.
That's why all the rooms were prepared.
That is why you chose that room for the seance. Is it not, Himiko?
However, there are 3 empty rooms. Which one should we use? The middle room. The middle room's always best for stuff like this.
Oh yeah! Himiko was the one who chose the site for the seance.
She likely
It's Kier.
found out about my plans for the seance somehow.
It's definitely Kier.
You were quite vocal about the seance, Kyo. You even had instructions for it in your lab.
Our culprit, Himiko, prepared her seesaw trap ahead of time. Then she waited for me to host the seance and suggested the middle room. She led us all into holding the seance right where she wanted it.
Uh-huh.
Then, she killed Tenko, all according to plan.
That's a lie, right? Himiko did such a thing?
In the end, Himiko, who Tenko cherished and loved, tragically killed her.
Wait! We don't know that, right?
No.
He's wrong, right, Himiko? Himiko would never kill Tenko, right?
Kill Tenko? I killed Tenko?
Himiko?
What's wrong, Himiko?
It is true that using the middle room was Himiko's idea, but does that mean Himiko really killed Tenko? Would something like that really happen? Something so cruel? Intermission. Whoa. No, that made me absolutely certain that it's Kier. The Tenko one, anyway. I don't know about the other one. Alright, we're going to wrap this one up here, obviously, because we are halfway through the trial now. Good work, everybody. Good work. And then we'll be back for a 2-hour episode for the next one to see who done it. I'm pretty sure Kier done this one, but I don't know about the Angie one still. Hard to say. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.